Hi, I'm David, and this is the ATLAS Throttle Lock. I'm going to show you why the ATLAS Throttle Lock is the best solution on the market. I'm going to show you how to install it on your motorcycle, and at the end I'll show you our fitment chart on this video. First off, the ATLAS is thumb activated. This thing rotates with your hand because it's mounted to the throttle tube. Now, when this is engaged, you have 100% control of your throttle placement. So, for example, you're going 40 miles an hour down the road. It's an open road, mind you. Nobody else is there. You're cruising down the road. You turn it on and you want to change your speed. All you do is rotate your throttle. It's not going to disengage, but it'll hold that throttle position that you leave it in. And if you want to slow down or in an emergency, you can rotate it all the way to a stop. Nothing's going to actually lock it in place. The name may sound a little misleading. It doesn't lock anything. It's simply using pressure and friction to hold it in place. The way it works is when you push this button in, there's a stainless steel stopper arm with a polyurethane pad on it that hinges out and pushes up against the side of your throttle housing, whether it's metal or plastic, doesn't matter, and it'll hold it in place at that position. To make sure the ATLAS fits on your motorcycle, you need to have 1/10 of an inch of space between your grip and your throttle housing. That's the equivalent of 3 bank cards stacked together and slid into that spot. When you're checking to see if you have enough room, remember, you can pull your grip flange back. It's not typically glued around this section. As long as you can fit those 3 bank cards in between the grip and the throttle housing, then you need to make a choice on whether you need a top kit or a bottom kit. With a top kit, you would choose that if you have a bike that has really tight tank clearance at full right turn. If you have a bike like a Honda Africa Twin that have the heated grip wire running on the bottom half of the throttle tube, you would want a top kit so that you can leave that wire alone. If you have bikes like Harleys and then also some older BMWs that have blinkers on the right hand side, you would want a top kit because the bottom kit is just a little bit in the way of accessing those blinker buttons. You would want a bottom kit if you have factory heated grip wires running across the top half of your throttle tube. You would also want a bottom kit if you have ape hangers or you're sitting back in a seated position like this and not so much on top of the bars because it's a little more of an ergonomic riding position. You need to have 1.5 inches clearance between the plastic throttle tube down to your tank at full right turn to mount the bottom kit. Otherwise, you'll need the top kit. The great news is we've already figured out what version of the ATLAS fits your bike in our motorcycle fitment chart. Now, we're always adding to that fitment chart, so we will try to update this video, but we also have one other place on our Amazon product page where you can find this fitment chart. That's under the technical specifications area, and it's called User Guide. Okay, for this installation, we have 2 key things that you need to pay attention to. One is we want to make sure that you have the right friction pads for the particular gap between the grip and the throttle housing. Your kit comes with 3 different thicknesses of friction pads. Now the second thing is these bolts come with pre-applied thread locker. If there's too much thread locker for whatever reason on this bolt, try to clean off at least the first 3 or 4 threads on the bolt so that it's not gummed up as you're screwing it in. Now if you don't have enough room to mount the ATLAS initially, go to your grip and try to pull back on the rubber grip flange, and you'll see that the majority of motorcycles don't have any glue under the rubber grip flange, and it will actually pull back. Oftentimes there's a plastic flange that goes around the plastic throttle tube that the grip flange is resting over. So you just pull it back and then you'll have enough room to mount it. If you have metal grips, you may be able to loosen some Allen keys to move the grip, or you may be able to just use pressure and pull it away from the throttle housing just enough to put the ATLAS in there. If there's any grease on the throttle housing from the dealership, you want to clean all of that off. Your ATLAS comes with everything you need to install on nearly any motorcycle. First off, detach the clamp arm from the body piece by pulling up on the bolt flange. There's a small tooth at the base of the bolt flange, which will slide out of a V cutout. To select the correct friction pad, take the body piece, without the clamp arm attached, and place it on your throttle in the desired position. Now take the largest friction pad, and without removing the backing, try to slide it in between the throttle housing and the stopper arm. If the largest friction pad is too thick, then move down to a smaller friction pad. It's very important that you avoid contact between the friction pad and any bevels on the throttle housing in all positions of the rotation. You want the friction pad to press against a flat surface on your throttle housing. Now clean off the stopper arm with the alcohol prep wipe and allow the alcohol to dry. Wipe it with a clean cloth, then adhere the friction pad to the stopper arm in the location you selected. Now we're going to clamp the Atlas to the throttle tube. This installation is the same for both the top kit and the bottom kit Atlas. Place the body piece on the throttle tube in your chosen location. Take the clamp arm and slide the tooth into the V cutout. Line the ratcheting teeth on the clamp arm with the ratcheting channel on the body piece. Now press the teeth into the channel until it clicks 1 to 2 times. Take the bolt and thread it in with one rotation. Pull the bolt flange towards the head of the bolt until it touches. Now, hold the body piece with one hand and press on the rear joggle with your other hand, and ratchet the clamp arm down onto the throttle tube as tight as you can. Use the provided Allen key and tighten the bolt down until the Atlas is firmly clamped to the throttle tube. If you need further instructions to mount the Atlas to your throttle, go to atlasthrottlelock.com and click on the Universal Fit tab at the top of the webpage.